everyone, my name is Botanist Cool. Today, we're here with the Ace Attorney expert herself,
Katie.
Now, Katie was able to thoroughly and completely describe to me everything that was in the special content section. She knew everything that was in there because I was asking all about it.
I swear, like, I must have played it, but, like, I don't remember a single thing about it.
We'll have to take a look at them afterwards. I just want to show you guys. There's apparently, like, side conversations between the characters we could go see later on, as well as, like, movies from, like, a great special trial. There's Herlock here for some reason.
Oh, wait, is this the... No, I don't know what it is.
There's one with Phoenix in feudal Japan, mind you. And I'm like,
how it be.
Yeah, you know how it'd be, right? And then there's like Ryunosuke's 7 Days of Sin, and I'm like, what's this man doing sinning? You know? But also I did learn one other thing. I don't think I ever knew this, but Herlock has an objection. Objection. I never knew that.
We got the objection.
Well, I forgot about it. And Iris has one too.
Objection.
I don't think I've ever heard that one. She could also...
This person is proud to present her logic and reasoning spectacular.
It's so cute! wait, hold on. Was there something about Susato takedown? Oh!
Prepare for a Susato takedown!
She's so good! Anyways, I just wanted to say that I'll explain the special contents earlier, and one day we will explore them in full depth once we actually get to the part where we beat the game and Katie's like, you could go ahead and spoil yourself on everything else.
Yes.
She will murder me. She will legit come and murder me if I spoil myself.
Of course I will.
Oh yeah, we don't see him tap dancing anymore. I'm really sad. I can see
Also, before we get too far, just because I don't know how far we'll get today, there is the possibility of putting yourself into... Basically, there's like a question and present thing, and you can get yourself into an endless loop if you choose the wrong thing at a certain point. Would you like the heads up before we get to the point? Or would you not?
What you
It might be fairly evident what it is, but
yeah, give me the heads up when we start that cross-examination.
Yeah.
I think that'll be fair. I'll save for that cross-examination and we can just go through that, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to tell me what it is.
I'll tell you when the point is.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Just so I can save, because I forget to save a lot, and it's like...
Yeah. And you could, if you save at the wrong point in this, you could lock yourself into an endless failure loop.
And then we gotta start playing the game from the beginning again. You just have to hear my bad accents again. Before we begin today, I have a brief announcement. And with the closed trial 10 years ago, some astonishing facts have come with light in these proceedings. The revelation that the well-known Reaper is actually an organization illegally executing its own brand of justice, and the discovery that the respected Yard Inspector was at the heart until he himself perished at the assassination plot. Well, I say to all members of the judiciary here present on this occasion, that we will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Counsels, you will undertake the trial with a resolve to pursue the truth to the bitter end. I still don't trust him. Resolve? Ah, that's the game's title, guys. Roll credits. Yes, that's my intention. My lord, that if I may inquire, the defense may speak. On what grounds is Kazuma Sogi permitted to continue his role as prosecutor? That's actually a good fucking question that I was gonna ask, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we've basically confirmed he's worked with the fucking Reaper and is an assassin?
Right? It's like, or at least, like, it's like, hold up, someone's got a vendetta.
Like, it's very clear this dude was out to kill someone at one point or another. Why is he prosecuting? So, like, Van Zee is the only one with some fucking foresight in this goddamn game. He has admitted to colluding with the victim in a plot to assassinate an innocent man. He shouldn't be enjoying the privilege of freedom, let alone be leading the prosecution. I submitted a written petition to Lord Strongheart, requesting that the judgment of my transgressions be delayed by 1 day. Fuck you! You did what? In today's proceedings, I intend to expose everything. My whole life for the last 10 years has all been leading up to this one day. Kazuma? Whatever the outcome of this trial, I give my word that I will accept whatever punishment is deemed appropriate, however severe. And I suggest you prepare yourself for the same, Reaper. Kazuma's bristling with hostility today. I get the distinct impression we're headed to a very dangerous territory.
Is that really even Kazuma-sama standing before us?
No, it's not, and I can tell you why. He finally doesn't have his sword! Let's go! They took that shit away from him!
Oh my god.
The sword is a Japanese man's soul. He said himself, he's not there. He has no soul now. That's literally like, that's not even Kazuma-sama anymore. Because they took away his sword. And he didn't deserve it. He was going down the dark path anyways. That's all I'm saying. He was there. He was about to kill Judge Jikoku, or he killed Gregson. All I'm saying, he doesn't have a sword. That's good. That's my sword.
You're so funny about the sword.
I'm so mad about the sword. I'm so focused on that. I'm so mad about it.
As an extreme exception to normal practices, I have granted this prosecutor's request. The defense finds this acceptable, I presume.
What if he said no?
Excuse me, my lord. I know this great guy in Japan. His name is Prosecutor Aochi. You could bring him over instead, actually. Yes, my lord.
In that case, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed hearing of Barack Van Zeeks.
The defense is ready, my lord.
The prosecution is more than ready.
Very well. This preamble's taken long enough. Prosecutor Sogi, begin.
As you wish, my lord. The prosecution calls the first witness to the stand. Bring Seshiro Jikoku into the courtroom.
At last, then, we've reached the final battle. Wait, are we gonna finish this today?
We might.
Oh my god, we might finish today, let's go! He's putting literally everything on the line in now in order to get the truth. I love that animation so much. It's so expressive. Come on, Ryunosuke. It's time for Steely Resolve, because this is going to test it to the limit.
Witness, state your name and occupation for the court.
So it was you who issued this, was it?
Your subpoena? I did what was necessary.
Well, look at the young man. Look what the young man has become. I didn't think I'd see the day when you'd take that tone with me, I must say. The witness will ensure his responses are pertinent to the questions asked. Fuck you too. My name is Seshiro Jikoku, a Supreme Court judge from the Empire of Japan.
16 years ago, this man came to London as a visiting student. 6 years later, he returned to Japan. As also presiding over the Supreme Court, he's also currently Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs.
I am, of course, fully aware of Mr. Jikoku and his preeminent roles. I invited him personally to the International Forensic Science Symposium, as a representative of his country. I hear he played a key role in the conclusion of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. It was a great honor to be involved in the negotiations. I put my all into that treaty. Judge Jikoku, I must ask. Well, I never fancied the young murdering student turning up here. Wait. No, wait, why are you starting this now? Why are you such a fucking asshole? Come on, just taking dig after dig at me. This is painful, Katie.
It's real rough.
It's real. I hope he just has an exasperated look on him in a bit.
Well, I never fancied the young murdering student turning up here of all places. Yeah!
You acquitted me yourself. Fucking hell. And now I'm a practicing defense lawyer. Yeah, we are.
Yes, and I am full of self-importance, like your friend across the courtroom, I see.
You came to London by invitation of the International Forensic Science Symposium, but then, without informing anyone of your plans, you took flight to France.
Took flight? Do you have to object to that turn of phrase?
Then explain yourself. What exactly were the circumstances?
Well, I was somewhat expecting this, and I'm sorry to say, I declined to comment.
What? Oh, perfect.
Leaving the country prematurely when I was an invited guest may be questionable etiquette. But my decision is unrelated to this case. I can't be bound to testify. Unrelated, you say? I appreciate the respected police inspector has been killed, for which I offer my condolences. However, being an alien, I'd obviously never met the man, nor do I know the first thing about him. As such, I'm in no position to testify. It's as simple as that.
So you would run from all of this?
I beg your pardon.
This case is more far-reaching than the murder of Inspector Gregson. It has ties to another murder, a case that was tried in Japan almost a year ago.
A year ago in Japan? The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson, you mean?
That's right! And you, Judge Jikoku, are at the heart of both cases.
The defense has evidence to prove it.
Well, Ryunosuke, I see from the look in your eyes that you're resolved to carry this through to the very end, too. Let's see your evidence, then. What proof did you have that Sashiro Jikoku—
Oh, come on. This is a telegram detailing a communication sent between Britain and Japan approximately 1 year ago. The communication contained 4 names: K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, and J. Wilson.
You little...
Oh shit, he's mad. Oh man, he's mad.
Where did you get that?
In Tokyo. From your office, Judge Jikoku.
What? How on earth did you...
What is this all about? Why is my name on that list?
The list of 4 names follows a certain pattern. T. Gregson and J. Wilson were the names of the victims. K. Asogi and A. Shin were the names of the assassins.
No.
A year ago in Tokyo, Dr. John H. Wilson's life was taken in a Western-style restaurant in the capital, right? He was eating steak. The culprit was found to be a visiting student who went by the name of Jazeel Brett. But her real name was Asa Shin, a professional killer sent on a mission to kill from Great Britain.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted.
No, you're good, you're good.
Asian and her victim, Jay Wilson.
And the murder that took place here in London was the counterpart to that crime. An assassin sent from Japan, also a visiting student, Kazuma Sogi, whose victim was the British police inspector Tobias Gregson.
K. Asogi and T. Gregson. One assassin from each country to kill a target residing in the other.
What exactly is the defense suggesting?
These two cases of murder, one that took place in Britain and one that took place in Japan, were masterminded by a pair of individuals from each country as a form of assassin exchange. And the telegram the defense has acquired is proof of this international contract to kill. What? What? The telegram was found in your office, Judge Ikoku. In other words, the mastermind in Japan was you. Judge Ikoku, what's this all about? And you, Kazuma, you lied. During yesterday's proceedings, you acknowledged that you accepted the assassination mission, but the mark wasn't Judge Ikoku at all. It was T. Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard, as shown by the name in the killing contract. Very impressive, Inosuke.
I'm not going to jail now. There's nothing you can do about it.
But actually, I didn't lie. That's what a liar would say, Kazuma. I'm just saying. The name of the target I was ordered to kill never passed my lips yesterday. The idea that Shojigoku was the mark came entirely from you. Oh, fuck off. You deliberately avoided saying a name?
The defense claims these four names indicate some sort of international assassin exchange. I'm sure I speak for all present when I say that the very idea seems utterly absurd. Well, Mr. Jikoku, what do you have to say for yourself?
His silence only goes to prove his guilt.
There's another very important point that this new development brings to light. There's now a distinct possibility that the scene of Inspector Gregson's actual murder was in the witness's cabin aboard the SS Groose.
Judge Ikoku, you have to testify now. To refuse will put you in contempt of court.
There's no need for quite such a vicious stare, young man. Very well, then. As a parting gift to you all, I tell you everything I know.
Am I gonna have to go for like my super deep evil, tabletop RPG big bad evil guy voice for him? Because I thought I'd do that for Strongheart, but like if Jikoku's dirty, I'm gonna be really sad. He's probably dirty though, isn't it?
It seems this Japanese gentleman has informed that the court must hear about the alleged assassin exchange and the events of the night of 31st of October. Present your formal testimony now.
As you wish, my lord. Katie, why is it just all the people who are higher up, except for Mikotoba and Sholmes, even Sholmes is kind of dirty, are dirty.
It's just too real.
Just too fucking real. Just too fucking real.
It's true that Kazuma Sogi was assigned the assassination mission 1 year ago now. The target was Inspector T. Gregson. That was the condition of the British study tour. However, in the end, something happened that meant that the young man was unable to carry out his mission. On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin at all times. If there had been a shot fired, the crewman would have heard it, so clearly I can't be involved.
So you admit it then, that this communication suggests there really was an assassination exchange arranged between Britain and Japan.
I love it when the defense is, yes, but I didn't do it, though.
Yes, I conspired to kill Gregson, but ooh woo, I didn't.
A political endeavor at the highest level is not something I can discuss here.
To use such a worthy practice as foreign study to coerce somebody to commit murder. It's the most appalling thing I've ever heard.
Take him down, Susanoo. Do it. Do Susanoo takedown. Appalling! Well, it's easy to judge.
Maybe.
Maybe for you!
Pardon?
Asogi had a reason for taking his sword to that British inspector, you know. What? Which is why he accepted the mission in the first place. Isn't that right, Council?
Kazuma-sama?
Judge Ikoku, if you are the mastermind behind this operation in Japan, then tell the court the identity of your counterpart in Britain.
I'm not obliged to divulge that information.
As I said yesterday, I've killed nobody. I freely admit that I accepted the mission, but on the night the plan was to be executed, I backed out.
We're basically cross-examining you too, Asogi. Get on the fucking defense stand.
Right? It's like, hello?
This is such bullshit. Like, not only is it being...
Imagine if there was a jury. This would be done.
No, because you know what would happen? They'd still, for some reason, hate us, so we'd have to convince the jury to see that Cosmo shouldn't be the
No, they wouldn't. You know why?
Why?
Unfortunately. You know why, unfortunately?
Because he's the son of the professor?
Because Kazuma is also Japanese. They're all super racist.
That's true.
In short,
It's super unfortunate. But I feel...
It's like, well, we know this guy. He's
Although
been right a few
it would be super
times.
funny if they were just like, but Kazuma's okay.
Oh god, no. Oh my god. Yeah, they would have some vendetta. I guess that's because we pressed them once too many times and they're really pissed at us. Also, when's that collar coming back into fucking play? Like, we haven't seen that collar, but apparently there's some big plot point, the Baskerville collar. That hasn't come back into play at all yet.
In short, this exact exchange that the defense has identified is unrelated to the events that's—
Oh, bullshit!
The crucial point is this. The police inspector can't have perished aboard that ship in Dunkirk, because if he had been shot in the cabin, it's inconceivable that a member of the crew wouldn't have heard it.
That's right. Gregson was killed after returning to London in the room on Fresno Street. And the perpetrator of the crime was the Reaper, Baroque Van Zeeks. The prosecution's accusations remain unchanged.
To think that a seemingly innocent foreign exchange program was a facade for such Machiavellian dealings.
What's Machiavellian mean? I know it's a character from like some Shakespearean thing, but... Anyways.
Clearly it's a
remember.
Clearly it's a plot only a government minister, high-ranking judge, such as the witness, could hope to execute. Well, I seem to recall that it was someone on the British side who controlled everything. Be that as it may, it's not the place of this court to pursue this villainous assassination plot, exchange plot. Let's conveniently swipe it under the rug, because I definitely have nothing to do with it. Is the defense clear on that point, counsel?
No.
Fuck off.
Fuck you.
Yes, my lord. I'll keep that in mind as I cross-examine the witness. Let's save. A year ago, when Cosmo was still in Japan then. Correct. It was at the examination center for applicants for a study tour that I approached him.
I'll never forget it. I remember exactly what you said. Go kill this British policeman. It'll be fun, my dude. I promise. It's like taking candy from a baby.
Nebunito, thank you very much for the follow. Hello, how are you doing today?
You just came out and asked me, forthright, if I consider traveling to Britain on the
Oh my god, he literally just did. He literally just was like,
hey, go kill this guy.
You know how it be.
Happy New Year. It's a game you wish to play. It's a really good game. This is the end of the game, though, so there's going to be spoilers, just telling you.
Surely not.
I thought it was a joke at first, of course, but then it was made clear to me that if I didn't accept, I wouldn't be considered for the study tour.
So you agreed to it just for that? I mean, I know how much you wanted to study in England, but assassination?
Look at my rippling muscles. You know, I was born to kill.
Look at my skin-tight suit and bulging muscles underneath your Nosuke. Flex.
Just rips his entire thing off. It's just like Full Metal Alchemist.
You should try We the Revolution as well. Ooh, I've not heard of it, but I'll take a gander that when I can. Do you want me to just call you Neb, or do you want to be called Nebunito, friend? The Empire of Japan has accepted a proposal from the British Empire at the time, an agreement to send a student from each country to the others to deepen cultural understanding and friendship. But behind the scenes, the chosen students were to be given assassination missions. For funsies.
For funsies.
Whatever you wish. Alright, I'm gonna call you Neb then, friend. I had no choice but to accept the proposal that originated from my British counterparts.
Why? Why didn't you expose the plot there and then? Because it's funny.
Britain acknowledges no part in these alleged misbegotten dealings. I advise you not to make spurious allegations, Foreign Minister Jikoku. I have a gun trained on you.
As a witness, I am bound to tell the truth, my lord. Anyway, I picked a Sogi and explained the details of the plan to him. I know Gregson was a horrible person and did a lot of murder, but I do feel bad he's gone. Like...
Well, you feel bad also because, like, Gina.
Yeah, but I do actually miss Gregson as a person, but also, like, he's kind of a shit person. Like, who are we gonna make fun of for eating so many fish and chips now?
No one. There's no one who can fill the void.
Gina just starts eating fish and chips now continuously.
No, Gina, don't do it.
Yeah, poor Gina, though. Why Cosmo? Why'd you pick him as the assassin? He was the most capable of all the applicants, and in addition...
He knew how to use a sword. You know how many legal students know how to use a sword? What can you think?
Most defense attorneys with a sword only use it for decoration. It just stares at Naruhodo. I knew his desire to travel to Britain was very strong. In fact, it was almost more than a desire. It was his whole purpose in life. Yes, as his best friend, I can certainly attest to that. The way he threw himself into his studies, the way he pursued becoming qualified as a lawyer.
The way he continually stabbed that Gregson-shaped mannequin.
It was so weird how that mannequin in his house looked exactly like a man who would be from England. And it even had a fish and chips picture next to it too. It's just like a fucking like shopping mannequin, but it's holding a thing of fish and chips. It was all ultimately for that one simple goal of being accepted on the study tour to Britain.
To kill. And of course we know the reason behind that. He was determined to find out for himself the truth about his father, Genshin Asogi.
There's nothing I wouldn't have done to get here. Be that agreeing to assume the role of an assassin or betraying people's trust.
Well, you certainly did a fine job of betraying mine, Asogi. Oh, shit. There's so much. Just both of you get on the defense. Right now, the least involved person, the most unbiased prosecutor available is Baroque Van Zeeks. And he's the one being charged for murder.
He's the one who'd like. I can see him prosecuting himself.
Yeah.
Like no. Have you considered?
Have you considered that I am an asshole, Naruhodo? Fucking hell. Like, legitimately, he is the least biased prosecutor and person in the fucking room at this moment. Like, holy shit. He would do a better job of prosecuting than Nasogi is right now. But why was Inspector Gregson the target? I have no idea. Those were the orders from Britain. I was not in a position to question them.
You have no idea, really? I find that hard to believe.
Oh, do you?
Kazuma, do you want to share something with the class?
Oh. It's on me.
Yoshikoku was once a visiting student here in Britain himself, of course. Perhaps he has some connection with Inspector Gregson from that time.
The defense really ought to catch up.
With what?
With the fact that the assassination exchange has absolutely nothing to do with the case under scrutiny here. Yes, I've already admitted to recruiting Asogi. I presume you're referring to the incident that occurred during Kazuo's passage to Britain in January. The awful tragedy that took place on the steamship. Word arrived at the ministry. What was I going for? That was going for like a really shitty Arthur Morgan for a second. Word arrived at the ministry some 2 weeks after the ship's departure from our shore. The visiting student had been killed, but his body had somehow gone missing in Hong Kong. The news was wired to me from a detective I placed on the ship to accompany the assassin. Obviously, Cosmo didn't actually die at all. But he did lose his memory, including all the details about a special mission. Did you not consider dispatching another assassin at that point? That wasn't possible, simply because the black-clad young student over there had already put himself forward as the Sogi's replacement. And there was no way to stop him from reaching Britain. Ah.
Sholmes, you genius, I could kiss you.
I did a poll, by the way, on my YouTube about whether Sholmes is a genius, an idiot, or both. And, like, the minority put it in genius. The majority put it in both. And, like, in the middle was he's a complete fucking idiot, but, like, he's a fucking both. 100%. This man's fucking brilliant, but he's also fucking stupid. I love him. He's dumb. He's brilliant. My hands were completely tied.
So Mr. Sholmes' strategy worked perfectly.
He predicted everything that would happen. Months later, my memory returned, but I never intended to go through with the assassination mission anyways.
You were playing me right from the onset, were you? Is that it?
I'd sooner be guilty of a crime rather than taking someone else's life. I was prepared to do whatever I had in order to get myself here to Britain.
Will you two stop bickering?
This line of questioning has gone on long enough. All the court should be concerned about in testimonies given by the witness are the details relating to this relationship with Inspector Gregson and the victim's murder.
In that case, as I've already made perfectly clear, I have no connection with the man or his death.
And you have some means of substantiating this plea.
I know that, like, there was a bullet hole in this cabin. I don't think we have proof of that. Oh shit, that was an... Oh, wow. I'm an idiot.
I I mean, yeah, we haven't played in a bit, so it's not surprising that you wouldn't remember all the evidence we have, but we have some evidence.
Yeah, I figured it out, guys. Outside your cabin in the first-class area of the SS Cruise, you mean?
Yes, that's right.
Well, wrong voice.
Not least because there was a murder of a student passenger earlier this year, I imagine. The liner operators have taken to posting a crewman outside every first-class cabin door.
I can confirm the presence of the crewman guard myself.
What do you mean?
Because I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk that night, I witnessed it with my very own eyes. There was a well-built crewman standing directly in front of the door to the witness's cabin.
That time particular, of course, I'd gone to the ship's dining room for dinner.
The inspector and I asked the crewman to allow us into the cabin while we waited for Judge Chikoku's return.
I suppose Inspector Gregson was there in his capacity as the Reaper.
He was attempting to take the witness's life. Exactly. As I've stated numerous times now, I had no intention of killing anyone.
So the crewman let two potential assassins into the cabin he was supposed to be guarding. Not the most convincing of centuries, really.
In truth, those are my thoughts too. But anyways, I stayed to talk with Inspector Gregson for a short while, and then I left him there and made my way off the ship alone.
Was that guard still at the door when you went?
Yes, he glared at me as I walked past.
You see, that proves it.
I'm gonna present.
Objection.
Nope. Nothing for the defense. I must object to that last statement.
And as the judge, I must deny your objection. There's no contradiction here.
Fair enough. Oh.
No contradiction other than the fact that a Far Eastern lawyer is practicing in the British courtroom.
Oh, shit. Put that not so far away, Lord Chief Justice, if you remember. The crewman who was standing directly outside your cabin door, you mean?
That's right. A muscular man with a permanent, grim expression on his face. He did not move once from that spot. To be honest, I thought he was a miserable fellow. But as it happens, he's a vital witness now.
There's no doubt that Gregson was killed by a gunshot, and it's inconceivable that a crewman standing just outside the cabin door wouldn't have heard it.
Oh wait, what about the ship's enormous steam engines? The noise of them could have drowned out the sound of a gun being fired.
Sadly, young judicial assistant, that won't wash.
Oh.
You will recall that my cabin was in the first class area of the ship, which is also, of course, the quietest. Don't imagine for a moment anything like the steerage where the judicial assistants go.
I didn't mean...
But a hole like that made by a bullet was found in your cabin, Judge Ikoku. That's compelling evidence that a gun was fired in there.
What's that? A bullet hole.
Oh yes, you're talking about what the detective uncovered in the wall yesterday, I presume. That was obviously a rotten panel eaten out by a woodworm. I doubt he'd find the actual bullets.
There's a hole in this argument.
Sadly, I was unable to arrange for the crewman to be brought back to Britain with me. But obviously, if a gun had been fired in my cabin on the night in question, as the defense implies, I would have been arrested on the spot and would have never made it to Britain in the first place. Very true, the witness is lodging a sound. Since there's no gunshot was heard from the witness's cabin on the question, we must assume that the witness was telling the truth. I'm glad you've seen sense, my lord.
I know Cosmo's already admitted to taking on this incredible assassination plot, but even so, hearing it confirmed by someone else is still a real shock.
It's unforgivable. Using Kazuma-sama's feelings to manipulate him into agreeing to such a despicable plan.
But I think Cosmo's manipulated Judge Ikoku too. He completely double-crossed him.
Oh dear, it's hard not to see that as a stroke of brilliance on Kazuma-sama's part.
One way or another, though, Gregson ended up dead.
I really think that the murder must have happened aboard the steamship.
Oh, you mean...
Judge Ikoku must be lying.
I know I shouldn't let my emotions cloud my judgment. But you must destroy him, Mr. Naruhodo.
Gladly.
Get his ass.
Get his ass! What's in here? So there's 20 minutes where the guy would not have been able to hear anything because he was at a... Okay. Yes, as the court has heard, there was a crewman posted outside Jajikoku's cabin. However, you can be sure that contrary to the witness's claim, the guard wasn't there at all times. What? I have here a notice of a particular event which was scheduled to take place aboard the steamship on the 31st. What? Where did you get that? It's evidence gathered by Mr. Herlock Shloms. You were acquainted yesterday, if you remember. Herlock Shloms again. According to this itinerary, after leaving the port of Dunkirk at exactly 10 p.m., and for a period of 20 minutes, all crewmen of the SS Screws were to be gathered at the deck for an evacuation drill. All crewmen were away from their posts. And during that 20-minute interval, of course, any gunshots emanating from your cabin would have been heard by no one. In summary, Jajikoku, you have ample opportunity to commit the crime. Ugh.
Objection.
But I say no.
That hurts my feelings. Don't do that, Ryunosuke. A 20-minute window of opportunity. That's an excellent find, Ryunosuke. But it amounts to nothing.
Why?
Because I said so.
Same hat.
Because the witness clearly stated that his testimony that no incident occurred in his cabin.
Literally, it's because I said so. It's literally because I said so.
It's not because I said so, it's because he said so.
I'm just saying, this would never hold up in any other way. Like, come on. It's really fucking funny, though.
Unless you have some decisive evidence that could show his testimony can be false. Your accusation is nothing more than conjecture.
Very true. Well, Katsu.
Is that the Gregson was killed in Jajikoku's cabin that night. I'm certain of it.
Because the defense has evidence to prove it.
You will present the evidence for the defense at once, counsel. What proof do you have that the victim's life was taken in Jajikoku's cabin on October 31st?
Judge Shikoku, this was found in your cabin yesterday.
What's that? The crown of a pocket watch.
A pocket watch. And if you will observe, the victim's pocket watch, which we know to be treasured, is missing precisely that part.
It can't be.
Moreover, this crown is a perfect fit on the spindle protruding from the victim's watch. Now, the fact that it was retrieved from Jajikoku's cabin tells us the victim watch was almost certainly broke there. In other words, the victim was killed on the 31st during the 20-minute evacuation drill in the cabin occupied by you, Judge Jikoku.
Well, you're razor sharp, aren't you, young murderer?
Oh, come on. I'm literally the only one who hasn't murdered someone in this room. Like, seriously.
Expertly maneuvered, Ryunosuke. And your argument sounds entirely plausible.
Except I say it's garbage.
At first. But rather, like this pocket watch, it's full of cracks.
Like yours isn't.
And I believe Jajikoku feels the same way.
I do now.
I was wrong to acquit you earlier in the year. Sorry? If I had known it was result in anyone having to listen to this drivel, I would have declared you guilty just to spare the world your ridiculous bombast.
I think it's clear that the witness will have to give further testimony.
When you hear what's actually happened in my cabin that night, you'll have noticed the pitfall in which you've stumbled. Is this... Am I have to save after this for the literal pitfall which I might stumble?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you can, but
yeah,
it's not what I forewarned you of.
Okay.
Prior to your renewed testimony, I would like to clarify one point. The fact that this part of the victim's watch was discovered in your cabin means that you acknowledge he was there, I presume.
Yes, I do.
Very well, then. You may proceed to give your formal testimony about what exactly happened in your cabin aboard the ship on the evening of October 31st.
Of course. As a man of the law, I have no intention of obstructing justice, even though you just did. We made sweet I had a guest waiting for me when I returned to my cabin after finishing my evening meal in the dining room. When I walked through the door, a mustachioed Englishman was there, foolishly waving a gun at me. I soon took care of him with my Ippon throw, though he couldn't wait. He couldn't wait to run away after that. Imagine his watch was broken when I threw him over my shoulder. It has nothing to do with this murder. The inspector was clearly killed having returned to Britain because his body was found in London.
Ippon Seyo!
A common jiu-jitsu martial arts technique in my country. I was careful not to use too much force, but the man obviously landed too heavily for his watch's sake. So, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I imagine you see the flaw in your logic now, can't you?
No,
not really. The fact that the pocket watch was broken in the witness's cabin in no way proves the victim's murder took place there. Oh, come on, Ryunosuke. I have no doubt the inspector intended to kill me, but he didn't manage to pull the trigger. Yes, because he was merely the tactician, not the reaper's hand of death.
Well, the testimony appears to make perfect sense because I am definitely implicit in all this.
Let me express my deep gratitude for your understanding, my lord. But if this testimony holds, Hachikoku will be deemed to have no involvement in the case.
Well, Constable, I really see no reason for wasting precious court time in the cross-examination.
You fool. There's always time for wasting court time or cross-examination.
You fool! Look at my brand new pocket watch! It says it's time to waste time! Sorry, my lord, the defense has a right to cross-examine and I do not intend to squander it. You're an embarrassment to your countrymen, not knowing when you've beaten. The funny thing is, this is hilarious for a few reasons. One, this is a closed trial, but Strongheart is actually under so much more pressure of a closed trial because foreign judiciary individuals are here. People from America, people from France, people from Germany, people from wherever it is at that point in time. They're all there watching this trial. So if he takes away the rights for a defense attorney to actually do a cross-examination, he actually loses all the position he wants to have in the world as the leader of, like, the fight on crime, right? He hilariously put himself into an area that he has significantly less control of editing the actual court and editing what could actually happen and, like, breaking the rules because he made it a closed court case.
Well, I mean, if he broke the rules, it was a matter of public record, that would also get out.
But he could use the jury.
But yes.
He could use the jury if he had a live jury there. He could influence the jury to make a precedent.
Mm.
He took away more of his power by making it close. I love that. I love the irony of that.
That is true in many ways.
Mm-hmm. What was I saying? Oh, yeah.
In that case, proceed, Mr. Naruhodo.
It was literally in front of me and I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, if it was public record, also would have been pretty bad too, for sure. Because the so-called guard posted at your cabin door, just let your killer pass, you mean? Apparently, Gregson told the crewman he was a police inspector, which was the truth, of course. He wouldn't have had his identification with him, though. He had his trench coat and mustache, not to mention the bag of chips. I imagine the crewman was convinced. But the man accompanying him would have had 2 swords slung around his waist. You mean me? Who else?
No, the other person with 2 swords.
Slung around their waist. From 2 different places entirely. 1 English sword, 1 Japanese sword. Yes, that's true. You would have had hoped that the sight of a few swords would have set off alarm bells in the guard's head. The point is, I left the cabin before its occupant returned, and I immediately disembarked the ship. Certainly, all I can tell you is that the only inspector was waiting for me when I arrived back in my cabin. Hold on, let me see something real quick. This was Gregson's... Gregson literally has a part of the sword in his chest. What the fuck are you saying, dude? It's undeniable that Cosmo attacked Gregson at some point. And you entered without an inkling of suspicion. That's right, none whatsoever. Obviously, you're talking about Inspector Gregson. Yes, though at the time I didn't know the man's name. And there was no time for introductions. I value my life over manners. By which you mean the inspector was there to assassinate you, I suppose. That was certainly the impression given by the gun pointing in my direction. But I've never seen the muzzle of a revolver shake about so much in my life. Anyone think the man had never shot somebody before? Believe it or not, most of us haven't. Anyway, there was no time to call for the help of the crewman at the door, so I dealt with the man myself. Interesting beard that guy has. I know, right, Ethan? To be fair, he rocks that fucking beard. It looks dope as shit.
It's pretty dope, actually.
If I could grow a beard like that, if I could have hair like that man in general, you know what I'm saying? I'm going bald. Oh no, it looks all it does. You know the man had a gun. That was a very brave move, wasn't it? My Ippon Seiyo is far faster than a bullet. I want to see that happen in real time. But I can't see anyone else pulling it off. That's a good point. That's a good point. But surely that commotion caused the crewman to come in, didn't it? Yeah, of course. He burst in immediately without knocking. The inspector hurled himself at the stocky fellow and just managed to slip past him to make his escape. The outstanding guard does it again! Luckily, there aren't so many situations I can't get out of a quick Ippon Seiyo throw. How you doing today, Ethan? I'm doing pretty good. It's been raining all day, which is nice. Just playing more Final Fantasy 14 at the moment. We're doing some, Katie and I are doing some shenanigans. We're trying to figure out a murder. We're just trying to figure out a murder. This is going to be a horrible picture after this. I can't imagine us forgiving Judgy Koku for whatever he's done. This is going to be a pretty rough picture. You can be all caught up before this month's end? Nice. We might be caught up with this game before today's end, which we're pretty excited about.
It depends on where we get to.
Yeah. Within the next 2 weeks we'll be finished, it sounds like, though, for sure.
Yeah. I imagine if we don't... we would likely finish next time, if not today.
I imagine it happening that we get to like 10 o'clock and we're just just a little far off. Okay, he's like, Steph, we gotta do it now. We gotta.
I'll let you know how super close we are.
Okay. The crown snapped off and the glass covering the face of the watch was cracked. Preferable to a man's head being pulled off his or her spine cracking, wouldn't you say?
Rather than the man was spared for long, a bullet to the chest will soon solve that. But the point is, the broken pocket watch doesn't prove that a murder took place.
Absolutely not. All the watch proves is that the power of my jujitsu throw. Whatever you say, it doesn't quite ring true that no shot was fired in the cabin, because there was an obvious bullet hole in the wall. What are you talking about? LOL, tee-hee, ooh-woo, tee-hee. That was your star of a lowbrow detective stories told you, is it? Well, I don't care for such fiction. Haven't you worked it out yet, you little stripling? No murder took place in my cabin. Did it take place in the freezer? Or in the outside wall? See, here's my question now. I don't know if Judge Koku's trying to be sly because he wants to get back, maybe at like Strongheart for making this situation shit. But he's like, hey, the murder didn't take place in my cabin. Wink! You know what I'm saying? Like, it actually took place out in the hallway in front of the cabin, you know? But there's no evidence that proves that the victim ever returned to London alive. Just take a moment to think that idea of yours through now, stripling.
What?
If the inspector was killed on the steamship in France, how on earth could he have gotten back to Britain? When people die, they're dead. It's a devil of a thing. People die when they are killed, Mr. Naruto. Well, then obviously the culprit must have moved the body. How exactly? Carrying a corpse off a ship in your arms would raise a few eyebrows at least, don't you think? Well, yes, that's true, but... all British luggage have been inspected when it's unloaded from arriving vessels, and I would like to think the border police would query a corpse to the English gentleman as hand luggage.
If the murder had taken place aboard the ship, you would imagine the body would have been disposed of at sea. There would be no sense in risking it being caught by attempting to transport the body back to Britain.
Let's kill that idea then.
But perhaps not.
Mr. Sato?
We've heard that the first-class passengers were under constant scrutiny by the crewmen posted to guard them, which would mean that the culprit had no opportunity to dispose of the body in the sea.
Yeah, that's true. So transferring the body to Britain may have been the only viable alternative. Dear me, you really are new to this, aren't you? I thought I'd been perfectly clear, but it seems I'm going to have to explain it in words you can understand. I think I ought to alter my testimony with your consent, of course, my lord. I have no objection. State your amended testimony now. There's no possible way I could have transported the victim's corpse back to Britain. Did it? We don't have his suitcase as a fucking thing. There's an idea. Think about it, stripling. All passengers and crew disembarked at the same time and passed through the same checks at the border. The symposium guests were driven straight to the hotel in carriages like workers of the ministry.
And we met you as soon as you arrived at the hotel.
So you did! Well then, remind me, did I have a corpse over my shoulder at the time?
What? No.
So we're in agreement then, I couldn't possibly have brought the inspector's body back to Britain. Unless, of course, they developed some clever device for these days to instantly move things from point A to point B. Fuck you. Fuck you! And your instantaneous kinesis machine jab at me. Fuck you! Funny you should say that.
Professor Harebrain's invention didn't actually work, if you remember, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, of course. The defense has become unusually quiet, I notice. Yes, because there's really nothing more to say. So that's your story.
Well, I suppose if you think about it, Whenever you drop a teacup in the office and it breaks. We don't say Mr. Naruhodo must have been murdered there, do we?
Is that a veiled threat about what might happen to me if I break another one?
And the fact is that Inspector Gregson's body was found in the little room on Fresno Street. He really was killed in Judge Shigoku's cabin.
Why would have been moved somehow, obviously. Transporting a dead body over a country's border, that would be impossible for the majority of people. There must have been some special circumstance that made it possible for the culprit then.
That could be a vital realization, I think, Mr. Naruhodo.
So we have to do this one. Obviously, but we have to find out the right piece of evidence. That's Clint's autopsy report. What is it? Yeah, start a fucking vigil. I forgot about this shit. So there needs to be something.
Yeah, I know what it is.
You know what it is?
I know what it is. I've known what it is.
It's the bunny.
No.
No. This is a small case, though, right? You can't fit a person in here.
You can't put a person in there.
That's what I
It's
thought.
too tiny.
Yeah, it's so tiny. It's the sword. No.
Vibrating. I know when it want a hint.
Yeah. I guess I passed over that piece of thing already. He was a redhead! No. You go?
Yeah.
Oh my god, is this the part where we start fucking just presenting everything?
Steph, no. You can solve this. You just need to look at the right piece of evidence.
I'm gonna examine every piece of evidence in detail real quick. This one's important. Let's see if there's anything on here. Some sort of steamship ticket. We've already read this before, so let's just do Dunkirk. Was purposes to imagine it, or was that calling by side side? Okay, that didn't have anything. No. 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 I was thinking what if they disguised him, but what would be the point of disguising him? He has a passport. You know? He didn't have it on him. That wouldn't have worked.
Steph, I'm so mad.
He's so mad.
You didn't even follow my advice. My one piece of advice.
What was your advice? Examine
You
things,
just
right?
need to look at the right piece of evidence. And you're skipping over evidence.
That's fair. Let's look. Let's see what's inside.
You've skipped like several things in a row, so.
I feel like it's one of those things I've skipped then. Oh. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Every time I was like, oh my god, he's doing it again. He was just looking at it. And now that he needs to look at it, he's not looking at it.
I was like, this is not going to be great soon,
You're
is
like,
it?
this means nothing. They even said in the dialogue, oh, do you remember when I met you?
Yeah!
Did I have anything? And you're like, that doesn't seem pertinent.
No, not at all. There's no way you could have possibly moved in Sandleford Greggson's body, you say. I would say the opposite is true.
It's quite funny that there's like, they hint at this twice, technically.
Yeah.
First time, just like Ryunosuke hiding in the suitcase.
Yeah.
Second time you find Jigoku in there. It's quite fun.
See, here's the funny thing. I thought we didn't have evidence of the suitcase. And then I saw the picture. I'm like, oh shit, we actually do have evidence of the suitcase. And what's that supposed to mean? Sorry, go on.
I mean, actually, I don't think we did, but you can inspect the suitcase very briefly.
Oh.
Back when it's out.
Oh, very cool. Far from being
So when you do that and then you like flash back, you're like, oh my.
The transporting of Sandleford Greggson's body back to the Britain is something only you could do.
What are you talking about, Ryunosuke?
As well as being a judge, Shikoku is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, which means he's exempt from having his luggage searched when he enters the country. I was actually looking for like his passport to see if that was something in there. I was actually looking for like a piece of paper that said, hey, he's exempt. We learned that when we first met you upon your arrival in London.
See, there it is.
Yeah, there's Inspector Gregson. Well, all those passports and checks and luggage search at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? I'm gonna give him a little bit of a ground now. I knew you were jealous. I presume you recall this, Judge Jikoku. It's a photograph we took in the foyer of the hotel to mark this occasion. And the court will know that you have with you your large travel trunk. Large enough, in fact, to have a corpse inside.
Mr. Naruhodo, surely you're not suggesting.
I'm afraid I am, yes. 3 days ago, when we were chatting innocently with your new arrivals from Japan in the hotel, the body of Inspector Gregson was just meters away from us, inside Judge Jikoku's trunk. Order in the court! I'm skeptical, counsel, that a grown man body could fit inside the largest travel trunk. It could. Because I happen to know the witness himself, a man of considerable size, fits inside that trunk. And verifying that would be extremely simple, wouldn't it, Judge Jikoku?
But inside his trunk. How horrifying.
And after we'd spoken with you at the Great Waterloo Hotel, you had the opportunity to visit the apparent scene of Fresno Street, taking your trunk with you in the cab to deposit the inspector's body.
I don't have to listen to this nonsense.
Dr. Gory, the coroner who examined the bodies, confirmed the possibility. She acknowledged that there were signs that steps may have been taken to disguise the true time of death. The onset of the body's decomposition could have been delayed by storing it in the refrigerator.
Counsel, as I remember explaining to you yesterday, refrigerators of that size are few and far between.
Yes, I'm sure they are. The one place they're certainly found is on the large ocean liner. Such ships are equipped with electrical refrigerators, cold rooms to keep food fresh for their long sea voyages, and if this Goose is no exception. Professor Rikotoba told me about it only yesterday. Well, Judge Jikoku? However much you prolong this debate, you can't eliminate the truth. All the evidence points to you being the killer.
Well, this is very heartening. I can see that it was a wise move, letting Asogi and you embark on this study tour.
What are you talking about now?
Logical reasoning, of course. All the court proceedings were built on logical reasoning in the new century. And I can see that you've both laid firm foundations for that already.
Judge Jikoku, please stop diverting attention from the issue at hand. The defense has made an accusation against you. How do you respond?
Respond? There really is no need for me to respond, is there?
Why ever not?
Because before you can even begin to answer the question of when the victim was killed, you must first establish one key fact. Where was the victim killed? It's quite logical.
The actual scene of the crime.
The prosecution's stance is unaltered. The killing took place on Fresno Street where the gunshot was heard. That's the accused, Baroque Van Zeke shot the victim at point-blank range.
Since no tangible evidence exists to disprove the prosecution's claim at the time, the defense's deductions amount to little more than an elaborate fairy tale. I'm afraid this is how logical reasoning the British are known for really works, young stripling.
The victim was shot in that little room on Fresno Street and died instantly? I'm afraid that it's the prosecution's claim that's the only fairy tale here.
How can you say that?
Quite simply. With my mouth! Good pun stuff. Because that claim could directly contradict a certain piece of evidence in our possession.
Very tantalizing, counsel. I think you should better explain yourself to the court, don't you?
The prosecution claims that Inspector Gregson died instantly when he was shot at the scene on Fresno Street. But this evidence contradicts that claim. I mean, obviously there's the autopsy report. I'm gonna save real quick. The autopsy report says it's indeterminate time. Or the autopsy report.
Take that!
Nope. Japanese are really curious to offer an argument with such conviction only to present such nonsensical evidence.
Perhaps with Japanese friends. You are Japanese! Fucking hell. Mystique of the East? Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking slap this guy. In case you haven't noticed, does he even have a mirror? Oh my god. Jesus
He's
Christ.
brainwashed. Save him. Perhaps you should try to present the correct one this time. Hold up.
Are you going to try again, or can't you hold your hands tight enough to point it out?
The prosecution claims yeah, okay, let's get to it.
I mean, we have the watch and the thing here.
Take that!
No! Just load. I don't want to go through all that again.
Excuse me.
There you go. Do you know what it is?
I have two possible ones, I think. Or wait, trying to remember, cause can you? I have one that I would inspect because I think it might be it, but
I think it might be Gregson's trunk. What do you think?
actually, maybe.
What one did you think it was? I'm just gonna do this. I know we've already seen.
Because I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think it might be this one, but I think you might be right. Because I was trying to remember the description on one thing, whether it was relevant.
No.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
Other one I was thinking was I wanted to see if like he would have need to wound his watch or something.
That was something I was considering. We wanted everything without fail. 5 o'clock. Can the chest be opened? The chest, we've opened the chest before. We got everything that was important out of there, Chip, which was the passport. Nope.
Was it?
What were the hints that were given, like, in the thing?
See history.
Yeah, I see the history. So, there is something that contradicts that he was shot in the room on Fresno Street and died. There's something that contradicts that he died instantly, I think, is it. Because, like, we can't really do the Fresno Street problem, but dying instantly is something maybe we could actually talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see. It's not the bloody handprint, is it?
No,
because his hands
that
aren't bloody. It was something else.
the bloody handprint was Vigil.
Oh wait, is it? Wait. Is it the candelabra? Does it have to do with the setup of the candelabra and the fireworks for the time bomb or whatever?
Let's check. Look at it.
No. Trying to remember. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Do you want me to consult my memory? Yeah, I'm trying to. Or we could just do the classic Ace Attorney.
Go through everything one time.
Go through everything one time. I don't think we've really done that. Let's give them the true Ace Attorney.
Yeah, guys, you ready for the true Ace Attorney experience? And we have to at least, we're gonna have to at least get a few penalties here.
And then when we get it, we can rewind anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Just pull out a melted candlestick, some wall. Exactly. Oh, you know what I didn't present that I probably should present? My armband.
Oh my goodness.
Take that!
Okay, no special thing there. Okay.
I'm sorry that I don't remember what the heck it is.
Apologize.
What is it?
How the music just stopped for a moment on that armband? I wish it did. That would have been really
Is it
fucking
'cause
funny.
Did you present a photo of him? Is it because he's curled?
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
A photograph of the victim in the very location you claim he wasn't killed.
Yes, but the point is the posture of the body itself. You had to go, wow, fuck me. It's right direction of his shot there at that room. It's out of the question his body would have been curled up in the ball like that.
I'm sorry to
Oh, I see what they're getting at. That's silly.
What was his fault? He adopted that fetal position due to the pain in the shot that subsequently proved fatal. I am sorry to disappoint you, Judge Jikoku, but it's your logic that's flawed.
What?
According to this autopsy report, the victim died instantly. He would have felt no pain, much less have been able to draw himself.
That's not what dying instantly means.
Yeah.
Ah!
That's not what dying instantly means.
Which begs the question why the victim's body was curled up in that way. Though the answer should be abundantly clear by now.
You're suggesting.
The inspector's body took on that posture ahead of its arrival on Fresno Street before it was coldly turned out onto the floor. From the inside of a large travel trunk!
You're quite right, the shape of the body. It looks exactly as if it had been kept in a confined space.
Judge Jikoku, present your trunk for examination. I believe it's very possible that it will contain traces of the victim's blood.
Present my trunk! I refuse!
What? On what grounds?
I'm the Minister of Foreign Affairs from the Empire of Japan. I shouldn't have to put up a treatment just like this because I'm stripling's baseless accusations.
In other words, Judge Goku, there's blood in your trunk.
I decline to answer that. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I have privileges that allow me to...
At this moment, you're not a government minister. You're a witness in a trial of Britain's highest court. I don't care who you are or what your status is outside this courtroom might be. You will not withhold the information. Nothing is more important than the truth.
Order to court! Vote, Mr. Jigoku! What's it to be?
You can't be serious. You did it!
Have you no shame at all, Kazuma Sogi?
What? Framing me.
Very well, I admit it, I did it. I did bring the inspector's body back into the country. Inside my trunk, exactly as postulated by the defense.
What? You.
Dear God, outrageous!
So it was you! You admitted...
No, I admit nothing more than what I've said. Of killing the man, I certainly have no recollection. What on earth is that cryptic statement supposed to mean? I merely disposed of the inspector's body, which was left in my cabin, in order to avoid unwanted attention. As the judicial assistant over there pointed out, I have no chance to throw it into the ocean. So I decided my only option was to bring it into Britain with me and dispose of it somewhere else.
You can't still deny it. If you didn't do it, then who on earth did kill the man?
As you know, there's only one other person in my cabin that night. He had the opportunity. Moreover, he'd already accepted a mission to take on the inspector's life.
Oh.
That's right, who else could it have been? It was you, Kazuma Sogi.
You. I never thought you'd stoop to this, Seshiro Jikoku.
You've taken the words straight out of my mouth. Prosecutor Kazuma Sogi. You thought by leaving that body in my cabin you could pin the crime on me, did you?
This is literally a fucking circus.
Oh, the prosecution's counsel is admitted to visiting the witness cabin on the question. Yes, and on an assassination mission, no less.
You wouldn't.
So what do you make of that, young stripling? You've heard my testimony now, and that's all I have to say on the matter. I'll admit to nothing more.
I don't believe it.
You did just prove, though, that my defendant is in fact innocent, though. That's all
I would
saying.
like to get Baroque declared innocent, and then we can
Continue on. Then we can continue on.
I'll defend you, Kazuma. We'll get to the bottom
No,
of this.
no.
Please.
I don't think Kazuma is completely innocent here either. I do not know who's innocent. I am going to
we
be the
don't have to win.
prosecutor.
We just have to figure out what's going on. Like, can we please get Baroque off the dock?
Yeah. Listen, all I'm saying is I'm the prosecutor now.
Look at me. I am the defense and the prosecution.
Counsel for the defense. What is your position now? The court awaits your response to witness's assertion. On the night in question, the victim's assailant was in fact Mr. Kazuma Sogi.
This isn't the dead end it seems to be. The answer's right in front of me. It comes down to Jikoku or Kazuma. Both of them had the opportunity to kill Gregson, but only one of them did it. And I'm just a step away from proving who.
Very well. The defense is ready to respond to the assertion put forward by Judge Jikoku. The idea that the victim's murder could have been committed by Prosecutor Sogi is... Save. It's possible, that's the problem. But usually the top one's right. Like, we haven't had a single one of these where the top one isn't the correct answer. You know what I'm saying? But look at this. I did save, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go possible. Well, it is possible, my lord.
What? How could you?
Do you think I want to believe it? But the fact is, I can't say with complete certainty what actually happened because I wasn't there. Oh, that's the wrong choice, isn't it?
You disappoint me, Ryunosuke.
If I may, Mr. Naruhodo. I think perhaps that's why we form opinions based on evidence.
That was the wrong option. Ah, so true.
So true!
Actually, we have to settle this conclusively. My lord, the defense would like to present evidence in support of...
My lord!
Counsel. You must have been penalized for a short but
No! No. I refuse. I refuse.
Also, Kazuma having the gall to act offended, though.
I know! His sword's literally in his chest.
I mean, think about what that means.
Yeah. Judge Jikoku, let me remind you something you said a few minutes ago. You claim that the logical reasoning of the future is a judicial process.
It is, no question.
Well, logical reasoning can prove something here. Namely, that it would have been impossible for Prosecutor Sogi to commit the crime.
What? The court will belong to an argument that is supported by compelling evidence. So present what you have, counsel. What proof is there that allegedly demonstrates the impossibility of Sogi's involvement?
I don't know this one, actually. What do you think, Katie? My guess is the trunk again, because, like, he would have known.
I think it's the trunk.
Yeah.
Take that!
You're making the evidence weep here, Renosuke Naruto.
Oh,
Fuck
no.
you. Sorry?
Every piece of evidence has a role to play in the...
Yeah.
They're not playthings you're taught on the courtroom for entertainment.
Swear to Christ.
What was it?
That's a sad descendant. I'll end up being upset too. You know, remember the crew was on sentry duty on the side for something at all the time. As long as the guard was there, it would have been impossible to fire a shell without it being heard. That very much narrows down when the crime could have been committed. So is this a time-based thing? This sounds like a time-based thing. Are we gonna just do this again?
Take that!
This itinerary for crew members of this group, my lord. It is conclusive proof. An itinerary? How does that prove anything? Judge Jikoku, the moment you acknowledge that you found the victim's body in your cabin, this itinerary suddenly became much more significant. What? Why? On the night in question, as always, a crewman sentry was out on the guard outside of your door. As long as he was there, nobody could have fired a shot inside the cabin.
Absolutely, because it's inconceivable the guard wouldn't have heard it and come to investigate.
So tell us, that tells us that the crime must have taken place within the guard somewhere else. That narrows it down to the 20 minutes just after 10 o'clock as indicated on the itinerary. Yes, I see no flaw in your reasoning so far. But the crucial point is, when the evacuation drill took place, the steamship had already been put to sea from the port of Dunkirk. Now, clearly, the murder could have only been committed by somebody who was aboard the vessel at the time. Was Asogi not aboard the vessel? Prosecutor Asogi stated in yesterday's proceedings. Oh, he wasn't.
I didn't come to Great Britain to
Yeah, I
take
didn't
anyone's life.
remember.
So I left
That's
Gregson.
why. Breaking this up across several weeks sure does make it hard.
I spent that night at the boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning.
Which I'm sure the court will agree is conclusive proof that Kazuma Asogi couldn't have carried out the killing. Ugh. No, absolutely not! I don't accept that at all! What do you mean? The boy just saying it to exonerate himself. We can't trust that he really disembarked the vessel. Obviously, after he left that cabin, he hid himself somewhere nearby on the ship, just waiting for his chance to come back and finish the... No, that's out of the question. Isn't it, Kazuma?
As defense rightly recalls, I disembarked the vessel and spent the night at a boarding house in Dunkirk. And as I said yesterday, I signed my name in the accommodations register book. An extremely easy to verify and undeniable proof.
Ugh, no, why? There's no escape this time. You can forget you're a judge or a government minister. It's time you gave the court an honest answer as a common man. Ugh. You killed Inspector Tobias Gregson and transported his corpse back to Britain. Then you dumped the body in the room on Fresno Street and made it look as if the murder had happened there. That's what really happened, isn't it? Seshiro Jikoku. It was a damn trial 10 years ago. That's when this all began. Looking back now, my fate was decided that day. I was doomed already. No, I'm not doing that. Oh shit! Whoa! What? What? What's that power?
It's the power.
Holy shit! A British assassin to eliminate professor in Japan, a Japanese assassin to eliminate detective in Britain. Both assassins will use diplomatic immunity to evade the conviction and return safely to their homelands. I like that the bench is fucking gone now. I appreciate that.
The assassin request exchange received from Brennan about 1 year ago. Though it was hardly a request, it was a demand.
And for that, you decided to recruit Mr. Sogi. But things didn't go according to plan. You chose an assassin never made to Britain, and you found yourself unable to dispatch a replacement, because I was already on my way to Britain at the time, in Cosmo's place.
And that left me with only one option for carrying out my obligation. To eliminate the mark myself, personally. Of course, there was but a single opportunity for me to do that.
The International Forensic Science Symposium, I presume.
That's right. I decided it would be the safest to carry out my plan before my arrival in Britain, so I enlisted the help of my British counterparts. I made arrangements for the pretext that I would take this record to the Dunkirk. To lure the man in, he was given a sham mission by the Reaper.
What? The Reaper? Well, there's only one person who could have done that. The mastermind of the entire operation.
Kazuma Sogi.
Ah.
So that means that the assassin exchange was all planned by the Reaper. Well, we know it can't be Baroque. He hates Japan.
Yeah.
Case dismissed.
Well, let me just say
I've
anything.
never trusted an assassin exchange.
I'm not exchanging anything about my British counterparts. Anyway, the inspector accepted the Reaper's mission and Tulu inspector infiltrated my cabin on the steamship. But Claw Trap decided to lead him to France, and to his death.
Oh, how awful.
It was past 9 o'clock when I returned to my cabin from the dining hall that evening. They didn't give him the time to attack me. I choked him until he lost consciousness. But there was a guard.
I shot him.
Even the slightest noise could have aroused suspicion. I bided my time, waiting.
For the 20 minutes after 10 o'clock.
I intended to finish him by strangulation, but moments before I had the chance, he suddenly came around and went for me in a reckless move. I received a British-issued gun 16 years earlier. Being a member of the Judiciary as a visiting student, I never imagined I'd have to use it for something like that. So the revolver belongs to you, does it?
And the victim was killed inside your cabin on the SS Goose, which begs the question of why you arranged for the body to be discovered at the room on Fresno Street.
The young judicial assistant over there has already answered that question. There was no way I could take the body onto the deck and throw it over to the side. That's precisely where all the crewmen were gathered for the evacuation drill. So, before the first-class cabin sentries returned, I took the corpse to the refrigeration room. And then on arriving in Dover, you concealed the body in your trunk in order to smuggle it past the border police. I knew I needed to take steps and the police were being convinced when the body was found in London.
In that case, you must have known. You must have had the intimate details of Inspector Gregson's intended schedule.
Yes. My British counterpart sent me everything I needed to know. The inspector was due at Fresno Street at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in order to meet a man by the name of Hugh Bowen, from whom he would take this police identification.
Ah.
I decided that man would be the perfect person to set up as the culprit, so I took a hackney carriage over there with the body still in my trunk.
Must have been just after we took this photograph of you at the hotel then.
Yes, I wasn't expecting a welcoming committee. I was more than a little nervous. On Fresno Street, I spotted a young girl selling firecrackers.
Miss Venus, of course.
I conceived of the candle trick there, and so I donned the simple disguise and approached the girl to buy enough firecrackers to replicate a gunshot.
What sort of disguise?
For some reason, the inspector had a bright red hairpiece of his own traveling case, so I put that on. Well, I suspect I drew more attention to myself than I would have otherwise.
Mute. Apparently to be found at the scene, the inspector had it ready for the Red-Headed League investigation.
I only arrived at the room around 4:45, so I quickly placed the body on the floor, moved the notice board, and set up my little candle trick. Arranged so the firecracker would go off with a bang around 15 minutes later. Thought that Mr. Boomer's dude around 5 would walk straight into a trap. Except, at the last moment, I made a careless blunder.
What was that?
I imagine it was the bag of fish and chips.
Ah.
I didn't notice that it had fallen out of his overcoat pocket when I moved the body to the refrigeration room. Put it back in the pocket the following morning, but... well, it seems the warmth of the heated cabin had accelerated the decay of the fish. Anyway, that's everything. All the sore details of what I did.
Just tell us that Strongheart told you to do it, dude. Just tell us Strongheart told you to do it. Look at the bench is gone.
So good.
I've heard enough. We arrived at the truth about the murder of one of the country's most capable and respected police inspectors. This is how we tried it in the coming days. For a crime of such vile nature, you can expect the most severe penalties.
An exchange of assassins. What a foolhardy idea.
Mr. Jigoku, one last detail. Who was your counterpart in Britain? Who was the mastermind behind the assassin exchange? Nothing you can say can make matters worse for you. Just tell us. Enough! I've already told you. I cannot say.
Even though as things stands, you may very well never step foot in your homeland again.
What are you waiting for? Can't we get this over with now? It's finished. All of it. I'm finished. Then, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I now pronounce the findings of this court. This man before us has admitted to the willful murder of Tobias Gregson.
Oh shit.
Manzeeks is guilty.
Teshiro Jigoku, it is the opinion of this court that you should be found.
Shit.
And may I remind all of those present of the strict confidentiality demanded by this court.
There's another piece to this.
Moments ago, Mr. Jigoku signed a written confession admitting to the murder of Inspector Gregson and the subsequent conveyance of the body. In short, the defendant's innocence has therefore been established beyond doubt.
Yeah!
Oh, wonderful. Well done, Mr. Mouse.
Game's over, guys.
Game's over. We've done it. We've solved everything.
Definitely not gonna find out who the Reaper is.
Is something wrong?
I'm just a little troubled by his silence.
The true identity of the Reaper of the Bailey and this extraordinary assassin exchange. We do remain in the dark about these mysteries, and we'll never know. Oh well! Since I've been briefed about the defendant of the trial, we have reached a conclusion. I have every intention to pursuing both mysteries. As prosecutor! As you wish. Now, for the formal adjudication. I hereby declare the defendant, Baroque Van Zieks.
If he says guilty, I'm gonna fucking punch him. Okay. Well, I'm gonna punch Cosmo instead.
The prosecution calls for adjudication to be deferred.
Counsel?
The accused's innocence has not been fully established at all.
What the fuck?
I can do whatever I want with no consequences. I'm Kazuma Sogi.
I'm gonna fucking punch this guy.
That is the prosecution's unwavering position.
What?
But Judge Shikoku has already confessed.
Nevertheless, Baroque Van Zieks has committed crimes for which he must be punished.
Well, it would appear that you have information that the court needs to hear, Prosecutor Sogi.
Certainly, the murder of Gregson was actually carried out by Sessho Jigoku. but it was clear from the witness's testimony that he was coerced into complying with the plot, into the sick, merciless assassin's exchange.
That you were a part of! But...
And what I want to know is who coerced Jigoku, and who was pulling the strings. The victim went to France having been ordered from a mission to the Reaper, only to be murdered. In other words, the mastermind behind the assassination exchange is someone in a position to give such an order. And we've already established the Reaper himself.
Well, certainly that would appear to be follow.
The prosecution hereby formally accuses the man in the dock, Baroque Van Zieks, of being the Reaper of the Bailey, and furthermore, I'm going to prove his guilt beyond all reasonable doubt.
What? What?
Mazuma, please.
Order! The Reaper of the Bailey is a long-standing mystery, Consul. We're suggesting you have some new information which will build a case.
Scotland Yard has already investigated Lord Van Zieks very thoroughly in that regard. And they found no evidence whatsoever to substantiate the claim that he is the Reaper.
But I said so. But circumstances have now changed. What do you mean? It's already been established that the assassin exchange was negotiated with Jigoku by the Reaper himself, which means we now have a new line of questioning by which to identify definitely the man's identity. This is the prosecutor's intention here.
I must say I'm surprised by quite how tenacious you appear to want to besmirch my name.
You are
Killed by death in my eyes.
I mean, it's fair.
You are guilty of an unforgivable crime, Lord Van Zieks, and I will bring you to justice for it, whatever it takes. That explains Cosmo's silence before. He'll stop at nothing to finish what Lord Van Zieks unwittingly started 10 years ago.
Very well. Whilst it is extremely irregular, I will, on this occasion, grant the prosecution further opportunity for witness testimony. The defendant will disclose any and all involvement he has to do with the Reaper and Assassin exchange.
What's absolutely wild is, it's just, why are you indulging?
I know, you're gonna basically you're gonna screw yourself over here, Strongheart. Alright. We're gonna save after we get after we get to the right parts, and then we're gonna get some water, use the restroom. I'm gonna take a spoonful of custard because I want to drink it. Yeah, feet! Well, okay, that was the wrong way of saying it.
That.
I didn't mean to scream yay feet, but okay. Pray turn a blind eye to this courtesy as I verify this vile, unrelenting accusation. Has it soured the contents of my hallowed chalice? Lord Van Zieks, I first had to suffer the pseudonym of the Reaper 10 years ago now, and ever since that time I've endured the weight of the implied guilt that has gone with it. So I'll welcome the chance to testify now and crush those allegations once and for all.
Good. Then let justice decide, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution seeks to begin building its case by calling the accused to the stand as a primary witness in order that he may answer the accusations brought by the prosecution that he is the Reaper of the Bailey.
Now what says the defense?
Putting the defendant in the witness stand can be extremely dangerous.
But the story calls for Shisato.
And Kazuma-sama is so emotional at the moment, he's not thinking logically.
You're right that he's not himself.
But he doesn't have his sword, so that makes sense.
But I knew it would be like this. And I came here today determined to face him through whatever he might arise. As a lawyer and as his friend. I will punch him.
You muted.
And that's what we must do.
The defense has no objection, my lord.
Very well. Defendant, you will take the witness stand and give formal testimony on the subject of your involvement with the Reaper in Assassin Exchange.
As you wish, my lord. Alright, guys. We're gonna take a quick break here. I'm gonna save here because I feel like... Out of curiosity, Katie, how much longer do we have?
Let me think. I think we have a good chunk left, honestly.
All right, so then we'll probably be finishing this off next week then. But we'll be back for another like 30, 40 minutes in a minute. Everyone go get water, all that cool stuff, and we'll see you in a bit, all right?
Wait, see you in a bit.
I just hold on, wait, 1 second. So I unmuted myself to speak in stream. Katie is still muted. Sorry, Katie. I'm too lazy to unmute you right now. Chip just says to check the clip section, and I think he put the thing about the feet there now, and I'm just kind of like, fuck. So enjoy that if you're on Discord. See you guys in a bit. And we're back. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, I am so ready. So we got a few more games. I'm ready to kick some ass. Here's the funny thing. You know what? Baroque needs to say right here. I did nothing.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. End of testimony.
Like, that's it. Like, I did nothing. I never taken the life of another, nor have I instructed another to kill. Done. Just end it right there. I've been investigating the truth behind the Reaper for years, and I was aware of Gregson's involvement. That's the reason why I went to Fresno Street that day, and how I came to discover the body. The point is, no common thread exists between myself and Gregson and Dr. Willison. Clearly, therefore, there's no reason to suspect me of being behind the assassination exchange.
So you deny all the accusations about apostasy. Both of you are the Reaper and the Bailey, and that you are the mastermind of the assassin exchange.
I acknowledge that the public at large believes me to be the Reaper. However, this is a fallacy, which I alone am in the position to forsworn.
Naturally, the prosecution believes the testimony just given by the accused to be untrue. Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Yeah?
Let me ask you, why are you here? What really brings you to this courtroom?
Why am I being questioned? A desire to uncover the truth.
Even if the truth proves your client to be guilty.
From all my experience in this courtroom, I've come to realize something. The truth cannot be hidden. Sooner or later, it will come out. So it's always my intention to work with my client in the pursuit of truth.
I want you to remember what you just said.
I'm angry. Counsel for defense, proceed with the cross-examination of the witness.
Yes, my lord. I know exactly what you're thinking, Kazuma. I know you're just waiting to point it out. The contradiction you've convinced lies somewhere between the man's testimony.
All I need to do is stop at the first sentence, that's all.
Hold it!
So you're not what the general public refers to as the infamous Reaper of the Bailey. Exactly.
Don't imagine for a moment the court will be satisfied with one word of answer on this.
I realize that. You're intending to comment on every sentence. This is gonna take a while, Kazuma. Did you find it disturbing, though, that one by one defendants who had been acquitted after your unsuccessful prosecutions were killed? Let me answer that question by posing another. If one by one defendants who had been acquitted after your successful defense were killed, would you find that disturbing? Disturbing? I couldn't possibly say how that would make me feel with a one-word answer like that. Exactly. Well, that told me. But even though I'm not the Reaper, that doesn't mean I ignored all the hearsay.
Hold it!
You said for years. How long exactly? Since the very first time the Reaper's influence was felt in this courtroom. 10 years ago now! And your investigation led you to somehow Inspector Gregson, you're saying? I didn't want to believe it. He was a personal acquaintance. We'd worked on cases together in the past. A friend, even? No, I have no such thing as a friend. It felt like a betrayal, but I demanded permission to search his office at the yard without his knowledge.
Because when you found his secret notebook, is it?
It was when I first learned of the location he noted down as Gross, as the appointment at 5 p.m. on the 31st. Though I didn't know the significance of the details at the time. So now we're at the nub of the matter. As it turns out, the significance for me personally was very unfortunate.
Hold it!
But why did you go to that specific location? I thought that if it was the Reaper's headquarters, then by turning up there at 5 o'clock I would catch whoever was involved red-handed. Sadly, all that awaited me was the Inspector's corpse. Yes, even though it wasn't designed for you, you walked straight into the trap led by Jikoku. Exactly. Jikoku had intended to implicate Hugh Bone. But unhappily for me, I read the scene first.
Huh, a ridiculously careless blunder.
Moved on, just throwing insults around, I see then, Kazuma. Think what you will, it doesn't change the truth.
Hold it!
There's a link between you and Gregson, though. Of course, we were close acquaintances. We'd worked on numerous cases together. I consider the man to be a mentor of sorts. He taught me a number of important lessons.
He did?
Such as what? Where to buy the best fish and chips. High five stuff. Fucking on brand. On fucking brand, guys. Oh, it's so good. I know. Oh, that was convincing. Right, Chip? Dr. Wilson was a coroner, of course, but that was some time in the past. And in any case, I understand it was several years ago now that he was invited to work at the Japanese university. That's right. He was a visiting professor at the Imperial Yume University in Tokyo. It should be unambiguously clear that no link exists between myself and him. In other words, I had no motive for sending some assassin across the oceans to kill the man.
Why did they want to kill him to start with?
If that was possible enough, and I wanted to believe it, but something about this just doesn't sit right with me.
Objection!
Nope.
And you're gonna have to find a piece with Wilson on it.
Yeah. I was to see if we could prove that he had a bit more than just an acquaintanceship with him, you know what I'm saying? With tears? Yes, please. Let's see real quick. Oh.
Objection!
What is this? An autopsy report? Wait, this is 10 years old! From the autopsy of Lord Clint Van Zeeks!
What? My brother's autopsy report!
I'm pleased to see the defense doesn't intend to run from the undeniable truth.
Order in the court! What reason do you have for presenting this 10-year-old autopsy report here, counsel?
This autopsy report from the professor's final victim is an indelible link between Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson, and the defendant.
Not the accursed name again. The professor.
I first researched all the court documents relating to that case. I know that at the time, the autopsy was considered sacrilege to the victim's souls. And for a member of the aristocracy like Lord Clint Van Zeeks, it was unthinkable. But someone employed the power that be to allow the autopsy to go ahead, Inspector Gregson. He declared that he was certain he would obtain conclusive proof from the procedure.
And it was Dr. Wilson who conducted the autopsy. His signature is clearly visible on the document.
As promised by Gregson, the autopsy did indeed produce evidence. Evidence that conclusively proved Genshin Asogi was guilty of the murder. In my brother's dying moments, he mustered all his remaining strength to leave a vital clue behind.
Indeed, as the king indicating the presser and his crimes and conclusive evidence that convicted him. It enabled Lord Van Zeeks to avenge his brother's senseless death with a marvelous victory in court.
A marvelous victory, was it? I wonder if that's really true.
What?
Could the same be said if it turned out that the key piece of evidence in question was in fact fabricated? If the inspector, the coroner, and the prosecutor all colluded together to cast an innocent Japanese man as a mass murderer and send him to his death.
That is outrageous!
And now, 10 years later, for some reason the secret has been threatened and needs protecting. Which is why the inspector and the coroner had to be silenced. Isn't it? By someone in power in Japan and in Britain, using the two killers recruited for the assassination exchange.
You're pulling here, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Order once!
10 years ago, my father was convicted in this very courtroom as a mass murderer, to be sentenced to death. But it was all a sham, and I swore myself that I'd prove it. Which is why I had to come to Britain, whatever the cost.
You'll have to forgive me if I feel compelled to toast this vengeful Nipponi's tenacity of purpose here. However, he who fails to quash his emotions in the courtroom has failed as a lawyer. Come on, Cosmo, you know this won't wash. You're claiming your father was misrepresented in the trial that took place a whole decade ago. You must see that without evidence, that's nothing more than a wild accusation.
As it happens, I have evidence.
What?
As the coroner's heard, I crossed the channel to France with Gretchen on the 31st. I want him to the pretext of being the assassin recruited to kill Sheshio Jigoku. My true intentions were to make the inspectors tell me the truth.
What truth?
The truth about the evidence, and he acknowledged what I'd already deduced. And a closely guarded secret about what went on the autopsy report 10 years ago.
What? A secret! I know nothing of a secret!
While we waited for a supposed remark in Jigoku's cabin, I drew my claimed illustrious sword Karuma before the inspector's eyes. He very quickly understood what my true motive was.
Oh shit, I get to voice him. Right, I see. You're that Asogi's young lad, are you? And what? You gonna cut me down with that thing? Is that it?
That will very much depend on the answers you give to my questions. I want to know what really happened 10 years ago. The truth, that's all.
Before we get into it, let me make one thing clear. Still believe your father was the professor. There's no doubt in my mind. But unfortunately back then, we didn't have the evidence we needed to make that crime stick.
So you admit it then? The evidence used in my father's trial was fabricated.
It was the good of the country. Anyway, I was just following orders.
Orders? What exactly did you do? Speak!
I'm not saying another word.
Even if your life depends on it.
That's right. Even then.
So that's when the tip of the sword broke.
Kazuma-sama.
The result of Clint Van Zeek's autopsy were fabricated. The investigating officers Gregson and that lead coroner Wilson must have known about it. And they can have only been ordered to prevent the course of justice by one man. The man leading the case for the prosecution, Baroque Van Zeeks.
So in other words, the defendant did have cause to organize this exchange of assassins.
Exactly. And as established earlier. It has been the Reaper himself who liaised with Jigoku in Japan to arrange the exchange. Ah. So it follows that the Reaper's true identity can only be the man who stands accused in this courtroom today, Baroque Van Zeeks.
It's not. Straight up isn't.
Objection.
Kazuma Sogi!
What?
What you've just told the court. Are you absolutely certain of your facts? Did Gregson really fabricate the evidence for that trial 10 years ago?
I heard it with my own ears. His shameful admission.
In that case, I know. The name of the Reaper.
What? What? Lord Van Zeeks?
I gave no such orders, I know that for certain. Which narrows down the remaining possibilities to one.
Lord Van Zeeks isn't the one behind all this. Then yes, there is only one other person who could have done something like that.
I believe I know who it is too.
You!
Had a feeling this name was going to come up. The true identity of the infamous Reaper of the Bailey is... Herlock... No. Of course.
Take that.
The only person who could have arranged the assassin exchange and the manipulated autopsy results. The Lord Chief Justice himself. Lord Male Strongheart.
What? Lord Strongheart.
Yes, it's true that 10 years ago the defendant handled the prosecution of the prosecutor in court, professor in court, but he only took the case after his brother, Lord Cliff Van Zeeks, had been killed. I can only assume that this is the most inappropriate joke in British judicial history. Well, Lord Van Zeeks, 10 years ago I was very new to my profession, but I had a burning desire to avenge my brother's death, so I pleaded for control of the case. The investigation to that point, the supplication of the Lord to allow my brother's corpse to be examined. All the evidence was given, the autopsy reports, it all came from you. I have spent my life since believing that I was in your debt for the way you stood aside and let me handle that trial. But I see now, I was very much mistaken.
It was a hugely influential force that caused the inspector in the coroner to break the law 10 years ago. And that same force is still felt a decade later on in the other side of the world by Sessho Jigoku.
Lord Strongheart! Everything falls into the place where we recognize that you are the Reaper of the Bailey. The court awaits a response, my lord. This may well go down in British judicial history, but I assure you, it is no joke. Consider this a formal accusal by the defense. Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on, buddy. Don't speak for me.
I'm the defense.
It doesn't warrant a response. The formal accusal, don't be absurd. Defense's claims are utter nonsense. A wild fantasy at best.
You're not going to defend yourself.
You claim there was some wrongdoing with Lord Cliff Van Zeeks' autopsy. That's utterly untrue.
But I heard it from Gregson's own lips. He admitted it.
And where is your evidence?
What?
Gregson's dead now. Unless you were thinking of summoning a ghost to the stand.
Hey, wait. I know someone.
Not in this timeline, you
Damn it!
You mean to say?
I forgot how the system works in your little backwater country. But in this court of the law of the British Empire, without evidence, there is no case. I have no intention of entertaining some wild fantasy that can't possibly be substantiated by anyone or anything. Order in the court! Following Inspector Gretchen's murder and in the light of Dr. Wilson's death as well, there's really no one left who could testify about the events 10 years ago. Is there?
So that was the real purpose of the assassination exchange.
The court has no business ranking over the coals of a case that was concluded a decade ago. The accusal brought up to the prosecution and defense is categorically denied. Take it there are no objections.
Kazuma. He's more or less waited his whole life for this moment. Is there anything really nothing else we could do now? Is there no other avenue we could go down to pursue the truth about what happened all those years ago? If only there was someone who could testify about Clint Van Ziek's autopsy. Fuck, is there somebody?
Yes, there is. It's tied into other revelations that we found out about, if that helps.
He's gone extraordinarily who likes to cover his tracks, even so far as dispatching an assassin all the way through Japan to ensure Dr. Wilson's silence. Dr. Scythe won't say anything against us Stronghearts. But there is one ray of hope. Actually, there is one person. One person who can still testify about that autopsy.
Don't be ridiculous, there's no one left.
Who, Rinosuke? Who? Tell me. Kazuma, Please. This trial can't end, not yet. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the truth. The person in defense who likes to call to the stand to testify about the autopsy of Lord Clint Van Zieks is, I'm going to say real quick. I have a feeling I know who it is. My gut says it's Dr. Gore, who's been told stories by her mom. However, she's only 9 years old, that's the thing. However, I'm seeing if there's anyone else who might be able to do it. Maybe Barry Caden? Wait a minute! Potentially Mikatoba? So, okay, here are my options. Potentially Sholmes too, honestly. Alright, here are my guesses. Top 3 guesses. Maria, Mikatoba, and Sholmes.
Take that!
Denied!
What? I want to know why!
I want to know why you're proposing to call such a witness that lack utter desperation on your face.
In other words, you're wide off the mark. Alright. I only have like 2 of those anyways. Alright. So it's not Maria. I thought Maria might be a good one. Wilson.
She wasn't there, so...
Mikatoba.
Take that!
Heaven help us, another Japanese!
An expert in forensic medicine, my lord. Right, he wrote the actual document itself.
Yep.
Professor Eugene Mikatoba, 16 years ago. He came to London with Sashiro Jikoku and Genshin Asogi as a visiting student.
And what could his testimony possibly tell us?
Professor Mikatoba was the primary assistant during the autopsy in question. He was also the person who actually penned the report.
Incorrect! The autopsy was carried out by the coroner, Dr. Wilson. The report carries his signature.
It was the primary assistant's duty to keep a written record of the coroner's work during the procedure. In actual fact, the coroner merely read over the report at the end and signed it.
In other words, Professor Mikatoba witnessed the entire autopsy from start to finish. And the defense demands that Professor Mikatoba be summoned as a witness as a matter of urgency. Whatever really happened at the autopsy laboratory 10 years ago, something only he can tell us.
The defense's demand is denied.
What?
But Professor Mikatoba is in London at this very moment. We could summon him to the stand in minutes.
No, of course he's not going to agree to it. Strongheart has no intention of summoning anyone who knows. He's so concerned about protecting himself.
Prosecutor Asogi, let me refresh your memory as you seem to have forgotten the prosecution's stance. Only minutes ago, you accused the defendant of being the Reaper, masterminding the assassin exchange.
I did, yes.
So present your evidence for those claims and make your case complete.
At this time, I don't have the requisite evidence. That's exactly why we need witness testimony.
The professor's case is closed. There are no clues in that distant past that will bolster your argument today. Afraid to say, Prosecutor Sogi, that you would appear to be possessed by the spirit of your late homicidal father. Now, as I stated earlier, this case has already reached a conclusion with respect to the matter at hand. Inspector Gregson was murdered by Japanese Supreme Court Judge Seishiro Jikoku. For any hidden circumstances that may exist, they will be investigated in due course by the proper authorities. But we all know what will happen. They'll just give the mastermind of the whole venture time to cover his tracks again. By which you mean me. Your punishment for this contemptible behavior will be decided at a later date. As for you, Prosecutor Sogi, you'll be remanded of the following proceedings. Willfully, I trust, since you gave your word. This futile game of revenge is over. Young Master Asogi. That will be all. I hereby declare this trial to be over. Court is... What? Yeah!
Give me.
Mrs. Sholmes! This is no place for an amateur detective, Mr. Sholmes. May I remind you that these proceedings are closed to the general public. You will leave the courtroom at once.
Mr. Sholmes was instrumental in the apprehension of Seishiro Jikoku before he fled from Europe. The court should hear out what he has to say. Lord Mayor Strongheart, it is imperative that you refrain from bringing this trial to an end at this stage.
Is it really? What will that be?
You need only recall your own words from the opening of the trial to answer that question. If I may. We will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. The hero, I know, right, Chip? Surely it can't be that the shock of being accused of being the Reaper yourself has erased that from your memory, can it?
The whole truth, sir, has already been uncovered.
It would seem that we have a great many important members of the judiciary present here today. I put it to you, my dear fellows, should the trial end at this juncture? After all, why have you been invited to attend, to nod along to the provocations of your superiors?
Order! Order in the court!
It seems that we stand before a door that leads to a new era of legal practices, a door that is ajar. Let us emerge from the shadows of the Reaper's decade-long ascendancy. For you, and you alone, my dear fellows, have the power to push this door open now.
The auditors in the gallery have no rights to express an opinion of the court proceedings. Silence!
He's right. The judge has absolute authority here.
Yeah, if he calls the trial to an end, this must stand.
But what will they really do?
That's such dark things occurring behind the scenes. Dark things indeed.
They're seeking a person who can present the odds to say against the same? What's?
The trial shall go on. Summon a witness.
That's right. We need to clear this up before that Japanese fellas were remanded in custody.
My lord, you assure to those present that we would uncover the whole truth here. Vindicate yourself of this outlandish accusation.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's the very foundation of the British law. A toast to my dependable colleagues in the gallery. Testify. Testify. Well, my lord, You hear the voices of the British justice? I take it! I think you'll find it'll be rather awkward to silence.
The court will recess briefly. I have no intention of shrinking from these allegations. Bailiff, arrange for a subpoena of the witness at once. As soon as the gentleman arrives in the courthouse, we shall reconvene.
Hey, recess won't be necessary, my lord.
Pardon!
Mikatoba is a close friend of mine. He accompanied me today and is waiting in the antechamber as we speak. I do believe he's been enjoying a little trip down memory lane, in fact. What? Professor Mikatoba is here in the courthouse.
Mr. Sholmes, you didn't know this would happen, did you?
My dear fellow, no one is in a better position to answer that question than you, Shirley.
Yeah, I wasn't just asking for the fun of it, you know.
Well, I must thank you for your assistance in this matter, Mr. Sholmes. However, you are no further use here. Kindly leave the courthouse at once.
But of course, in truth, I find myself rather busy now as a result of these developments. Mr. Naruto!
Yes!
I trust you have Iris's little lucky charm with you.
Absolutely. Still in my pocket.
She sends her regards and a reminder. You find yourself at a dead end, the ears are at your disposal. Just one tug, if you please.
Oh, of course. We're gonna need to use it one more time.
In that case, the trial will continue without delay. Bailiff, show the witness to the stand.
So, it's Lord Strongheart. He's the Reaper of the Bailey. Where exactly is the trial going to take me, I wonder? Just how deep am I about to be plunged into the blackness of the abyss? Well, I'm ready.
I'm ready to head to the heart of this maelstrom.
Yep.
Yeah. And confront whatever horror that tries to drown me under. I want to continue so badly, but we're going to do this next week, guys. The fucking intensity, y'all. I'm so ready. I'm so ready to just beat this game. I want to know what happens. God damn it. All right, we're going to do this next week. It looks like, no guarantees though, it looks like we're finishing this game next week. It looks like we're going to summon Sholmes at least one more time, which is going to be fun. Fuck! Ah! Ah, Katie! Katie!
It's pretty good, right?
It's really good. All right, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for watching this on YouTube. I sincerely appreciate it. We have another week until we get this out. That being said, if you're watching this on Saturday, we are going to be doing this on Tuesday of next week. Ideally, should Katie and I both be free and there are no emergencies or anything like that. Yeah. Everyone, stay safe, stay Botanist Cool on YouTube, and I will see you soon.